we're going to kind of keep talking about this sort of existential meta stuff on freestyling, which is, I've said this before, it is just my blank canvas to talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. And in my notes here, I have the word ego written down. And I do just want to talk about ego because ego is, it's such a double-edged sword. Ego is one of those things where, like, on one hand, you do have to have an ego if you want to accomplish anything. You have to have an ego about you. You have to be, I think a lot of ambitious people, a lot of people who are going for things, a lot of people who are, trying to make moves in their life have to have an ego. The problem is when the ego gets out of control and when the ego becomes so crazy and so like, you get this sort of distorted image of yourself and all that. Like, if an ego gets to that and an ego gets to, you mistreating other people or, not, treating people like they're beneath you and all that, like, that's not good. But the ego of what you want to accomplish in life and, a healthy ego is good. No, and some people can have healthy egos that are big. Some people can have healthy egos that are really small, but it's just about channeling it in the right ways, right? Like, some people have really big egos, but they don't do anything. And so then they take out their big ego on people who, the little people, which are like people who are, maybe beneath them. And that's where you get people who are in middle management who, decide to, just do crazy shit. And, and just people who, have vendettas and in corporate America have vendettas and have, they want to make sure that, that they're fucking in charge and all that shit. And like, it just, people like that are probably pretty unhappy with the way their life is panned out, and that's their problem. But like, I think that like, it's interesting for me, right? Because I think a lot of people can look at me and look at all the things I do and look at, my Instagram and look at, this show and look at my YouTube, the vlogs I was doing for a while. They can look at all that stuff and go, this guy's got a hell of an ego on him. His ego is out of control. He thinks he's hot shit. He thinks he's that. He thinks he's this. I get that. I understand that. I've gotten that for a long time. Like, I've gotten that. People who don't know me, who want to think that or whatever. Again, it goes back to the whole not caring what people think. I don't give a fuck. I know what my ego is like. I know kind of, I do have an ego in the sense of like, I want to accomplish certain things in life. I want to be successful. I want to do this and I want to do that. Where I don't have an ego is I don't have an ego about saying, you know what, something more than me. You are, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt as much as I can. I try to help people as much as I can. I try to be, at work I'm in charge of people sometimes or whatever. So there's times where I'm in charge of people and I try to not have an ego in those situations. I try to just help as much as I can and not act like I'm, this hot shit and not act like I'm just, whatever. But I think it's easy for people to look at me and look at everything I do and there are some things where, I can look back at some things content wise that I've done and be like, that was an ego move, or that was something that was controlled by the ego. But I've also tried to keep that stuff in check and try to check in with myself of like, is this a strategic move or is this an ego move? Is this something that is going to actually help push you forward, or is this something that's just going to kind of fuel your ego? And I try to do that with myself quite a bit. And I try to check in with, how I'm thinking about things. I think about how I'm thinking quite a bit. I think more than people probably think I do. But, yeah, I mean, I think that you just have to channel an ego in the right way. Like you can't channel it into, treating other people poorly. That's a really bad way to channel your ego. But if you want to channel it into starting a business and then once you start a business, treating people well in that business and channel it into, accomplishing things, channel it into setting goals, channel it into, challenging yourself to do better and challenging yourself to make strides and things like that. Those are all really healthy ways to challenge your ego. Those can also get out of control. Those can turn very unhealthy if you are just constantly going and nothing is ever good enough. Nothing is ever good enough. It's kind of this constant battle between striving and gratitude. And like, it's like, I'm striving for more, but I'm grateful for where I'm at. And I'm striving for more and I'm grateful for where I'm at. And, all this, kind of that back and forth. And, ego is one of those things that I think about quite a bit. Like, I'm like, and this is one of those things, like not caring about what other people think. I know that some people probably look at me and go, this guy's got a fucking ego. He's an egotistical son of a bitch. He doesn't, he's just focused on himself and he's focused on, he just wants everybody to know that he's hot shit. I get that. I know that sentiment is out there, right? But I'm also not going to let that stop me from doing what I want to do. Like, it's just, that's not going to happen. And so I'm going to keep doing what I do. You keep doing what you do. You keep commentating and we'll see where everything shakes out. And, yeah, so